Well, welcome back. Here we are, one more week into this, and I just want to do a quick review. Just remember that we are talking right now about when you have conflict or people not getting along within your organization. How do you help to uh, uh, calm that down, make a safe environment, people that feel that they're safe to have some conflict, but also that they can talk it out when it gets along. So just quick review from last week. Now, if you haven't seen the two previous ones, just go back and watch the videos again. They'll be all called Handling Conflict, and there's part 1, 2, and 3. In the last one, just in case if you missed that, in there, what we did talk about is, where are we here? There. Is this what we talked about, that when people make assumptions, and how do you get everything that's known out on the table and everything that's unknown out on the table? Go back and watch that video. I'm sure you'll find that very helpful. But I just wanted to give you a quick review so you know that we went through all of the things about relationships, code of honor, then how to deal with the drama triangle, and then this one with the assumption iceberg. Now, want to move forward, because here's what I do find that happens. When people come and talk to you, then often what happens is they come to talk to you about one problem, but you need to sometimes dig a little bit deeper to find out what is it really that their need actually is. Now, for this, I'm going to take you back, and if you do know a bit about this, you know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you'll understand that remember, every person that is out there has needs that need to be met. And the more that we understand that, and the more they understand what happened is that people can be, when they're really high, when needs are being met, and when things are taken away from them, they drop down to the lowest common denominator, or the need that they actually have and that they're missing, they'll go to the one below it. It's really easy to understand why people can get upset. Okay, so let me just walk you through, first of all, give you the Reader's Digest version of what this is like. And first off, if you understand that the first step, that there is what there's called okay, this pen doesn't have spell check, so I'm just going to hoping that that's correct in there. The first step the first need that we have as human beings is physiological. Air, the air we breathe, the food that we take in, the water that we drink. So in other words, just keeping us alive, physiological. The second one that we have as we move up the ladder is called safety. This is having not living in a war-torn country, having a roof over your head, having a place to sleep at night, having some people that are around you that you have. Exactly. That's making sense so far? I hope so. So remember, first one is physiological. The next one is safety. Now remember, inside safety is also money. Money is, again, being able to have money that's coming in, an appropriate amount of money. Think about this when you see people that are going along, whichever side of your fence, I'm not here to talk about that, but you see people that are striking because they say, we don't have enough money to take care of our family, or XYZ. We just don't have enough money that we can have a good standard of living. Then that becomes their need. So understand that these are specific needs. And if I don't have enough money, I can't pay my rent, I can't buy food, or I have to make a choice between food and feeding my kids and paying the rent. I've got to make decisions as such. I'm now backed into the need that I have, and all I'm going to be thinking about now is safety. I don't care what I have to do. But even if you remember some of the old literature where people went to, during the early times, people would go to jail forever just because they stole a loaf of bread in order to feed their family. Everybody will shrink down to their lowest level of need. Now, the one that goes above that is called belonging. That is part of being a part of a group. Having a family, being a family member, having people that love you. If you think about this, is that even in times during, if you go to some gangs, if people they don't feel like they belong in a group, they might not belong in the cliques at school, they might not feel they belong in their family life, they might go to a gang, and then even in their gang do some things that they would normally not do, just in order to be a part of the initiation so that I feel I can belong. Now, we don't have to go into gory detail what some of those are, but belonging can be on the good side and it can be on the bad side. So we always make sure that we always want to be a part of belonging. Let me give you another example. I can remember that doing a program in New York City, and we had a whole bunch of people coming in from different parts of the country, and this had been a leadership group. And the leadership group was having a dinner that evening, and I remember that the group knew that this new person that was a part of their team knew that while they were from different areas, they knew that this particular person had family that lived within New York. And so they said to her, listen, we're going out to have dinner tonight, but if you want to be with your family, that is certainly okay by us. You don't feel like you have to come along. And this person immediately shot back and said, what do you think? Am I not good enough for you? You don't want me to belong? Do you see it? So this person, that need she had at that time, even though there was family there, the need was, I need to feel like I'm belong, because I don't feel like I belong to that group right now. So I want you to think back. Think back when you have an associate within your organization, or if you have a new stylist that joined. And does that person feel like they belong? I want you to think back the time when you changed an organization, or you went to a different salon, or you just started your salon. Even in your own salon, didn't feel like you belonged. You see it? So that's really about setting up the culture, etc. The next thing as you move up there is called esteem, and this just means the things that you're driving towards. In other words, it's interesting, and I've always found this particular fact. I don't know who came up with this one, but they say that the average adolescent hears the word no, and I believe it was 427 times. I don't know who counted or whatever, where they got the number from, but that's the number that I heard. You can imagine somebody hearing the word no, 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 no. How much the word thank you, awesome, you're great, would feel to that person. So how many times do we go through our organization and not just say, hey, look at person X over here. Look at the numbers that they did this week. Or I want you to read this testimonial that came in about this person, what they think of them in the salon. And just showing them the esteem. Esteem can be also that rising up to another level. I'll give you an example of what happened to me in my career at one time. This was many, many years back. I really wanted to, there was my good buddy Sam V and I wanted to become the artistic directors for the company, and it didn't happen. They actually picked somebody else. And so my esteem was shot down, and then I became a part of the Pisser Moaner group because I didn't get what I felt my need was to be very frank and very honest, what happened was I just went, I don't like me like this. Before I was happy. I'm not happy right now because that's what I wanted and I couldn't have it. So I just said, look, I don't want that anymore. And I just said, I just want to go back and have my life the way it was before, where I was happy and I wasn't constantly stressed because of this. And interestingly enough, as soon as my attitude sucked, as soon as my attitude changed, that position became available to me. Now, I'm not going to say that happens to every person in every environment, but I will say that need that was there affected my attitude, and it dropped me down to even the point where I figured I belong to this group, but I don't feel like I belong in this position that I really did want, that I did really want. I hope this is making sense. So the point is that your staff, and if they're coming to you with problems, I want you to think about where they are and what is their actual need. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about in that second one. The last one in that final step is what they call actually self-actualization. Self-actualization. That just means reaching the potential of what you really wanted and what you were going to. And you probably saw from what I talked about just a minute ago how that esteem was partly connected to that self-actualization. Now, self-actualization is nothing more than, just like they say in the military, becoming all that you were meant to be. So that might be now, and I want you to think about this clearly. And this, we talk about this with our associate program, as we say that giving other people in your organization another position, another level up, so where they can become an educator, where they could possibly become an education manager, an artistic director, or whatever, take over some of the other responsibilities, so that they feel that there is some place for them to move up to. Because here's what can happen, is if you don't have a place for somebody to move up to, they're going to hit a ceiling and they're going to want to move on. And that's why I always say that it's always think about, what can I do to scale my business so that either A, I can get more people within my organization and train them, or I can start another business and scale the one that I have with all the systems that I have in place so I can move that forward. Now, that aside, I'm just saying that just so that you can see that people need a place where they can move up to. Now, there was another gentleman, and this because Maslow was a philosopher that he came up with this hierarchy of needs, and I believe that was in the 40s or 50s, something as such. And then there was another gentleman that came along, and his name, another philosopher, and he expanded on this. His name was Hertzberg, and he started to define where this was, and he said that if you look at what happens in here in these upper three, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, what that is, it's actually everything in there is based on all of these create motivation. It's motivational factors that can happen in your life. And he said everything that happens below this, everything that happens below it, is what is called maintenance. That just means maintenance. Okay, get away from there. Maintenance. I'll put it below there. You'll get the picture. It's maintenance, and what that just means is nothing more than this: is that safety. Have a roof over your head, money, so on. Air, food, water. These are all things you need to maintain. Now, everything above that makes people more motivated. So let me give you an example. And this is the way that it was put to me that I thought was really interesting. Because if somebody is motivated, in other words, they feel like they belong in the organization, people are thanking them, they're feeling like they're being thanked and recognized for what they're doing. They see they've got potential to move forward. And that's the motivation that they have. And that's why sometimes when people, it's funny, I did a podcast today with Evie Johnson, and she said that she was making so much money in her salon that when she was actually going out and teaching, she didn't even send in requests to get paid for it because that was a part of what she wanted to do, and the money wasn't important. Now, I don't necessarily profess to that, but I would just say you can see how when people are getting that, it's about the motivation, and all of the other little stuff that most people would be worried over in safety doesn't bother those kind of people anymore. So I want you to think about what happens here, and this is the way it was put to me. If somebody is motivated versus somebody that's got unneeded meds and they're stuck in safety or in physiological, they said that in here, if there's unmet needs, they'll always shrink down to the lowest level. In other words, let's just say somebody doesn't feel safe. They're just getting by, might not have money. It's not that they don't belong. They just don't. The need is money, so they can't even think about belonging to an organization. Give me an example. Let's just say, we know that everything is moving on really well, and I'm making a lot of money. Life is moving along really well. But we see it in movies all the time where the hero has got lots of money, he's a millionaire, everything's going well, cars, everything, and then somebody kidnaps their child, or somebody holds a gun to their head, and they just say, it's just movie talk, but they say, look, you can have everything else, all I need is my life, or you can have everything that I have, just please don't harm my child. So see, what happens is that person goes right back down to safety if it's your child, or physiological if it's your own needs. But what we need to do is if people are having problems, the biggest thing that you're trying to find out is what is their unmet needs. Let me give you a symptom of what might be going on. If somebody is stuck down in here and they're stuck in maintenance as opposed to motivation, if they walk past the bowl and you see a bowl, the shampoo bowl is filled up with shampoo bowls and color and color brushes, etc. The one that's in motivation, their belonging, esteem, self-actualization, they'll just probably clean it up because it's not a big deal. If you're stuck in maintenance, now all you can think about is the little stuff, then if you're stuck in that safety or physiological, what's going to happen is they're going to be just complain at the staff meeting as nobody is, or come to the staff, say, nobody's cleaning up their stuff. Why isn't this being cleaned up? Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't clean up after themselves, but I'm saying look for the symptom of what your team member is really. Where are they really? What are they complaining about? Things that are just maintenance, or are they complaining because completely different than somebody saying, look, I've been with you for 10 years. I've tried to push forward. I'm stuck where I'm at and there's no place for me to go to. You see, that's an immediate place where they're going to start looking for other places to go to. So what you always want to find, I can't tell you what that is, but what I will tell you is what you're trying to do here is you want to make sure that you're trying to find out what is their unmet needs. And when you can truly find out where they sit inside here, is it money? Is it that there's cliques in the salon and they don't feel like they're belonging? Is it that their esteem hasn't been met? It might have been just something as simple as they did something that was really recognizable, and for whatever reason, somebody didn't point that out to the team and to them, didn't recognize them for it. And they might complain about something else, but that might be the real reason. Now, I hope this helped. And again, all of these things, this is what I've done. I've really taken pretty much a whole day course, and I've tried to sum this down into about 3 15-minute videos. So I hope this helped. Again, if you have questions about this, just type it into the chat bar, and my team or I will get back to this. So in the meantime, I'll look forward to you, and I will see you next week with a different topic. If you know topics that you want me to talk about, put those in the chat bar, and that's where we'll go.